How do you do on day 115 of the Educator Chipotle Challenge? Heading to Chipotle to get dinner for myself and Jennifer Terra, who is going to do an Educator Shout Out interview tonight. Chipotle in Davis, day 115 is what this looks like. Jennifer Terra, Educator Shout Out interview coming to you soon. Chipotle. It's not gotten old, folks. It's day 115. It ain't old yet. And I should have just taken out the yet. Scratch out the yet. Yet. Not at all. Much love.
Hey,
Drum roll, please.
drum roll, please. Chipotle. Boom. That's what I got here, folks. A little Chipotle. And I really do like Chipotle. I'm not just playing it for this educator thing. See, it's really good. I've got some beans, some rice, some guacamole, sour cream, and some lettuce.
Yeah.
Both kinds of rice.
A little half and half action there. That's good.
Don't forget the veggies.
Can't forget the veg.
I think my favorite part of the veggies, probably the onions.
Mine will be the peppers.
Really?
Yeah.
I like the peppers too. There's something about onions though. I used to eat onion sandwiches when I was a kid.
We are doing an Educator Shout Out interview for the Educator Chipotle Challenge. And I, on day 115 of the Educator Chipotle Challenge, am with...
115?
Yeah.
Aww.
What's your name, hon?
My name is Jennifer Allison Terra.
Jennifer Allison Terra?
Spelled
Some folks
A-L-I-S-O-N.
Oh my goodness.
Sure.
For folks that know, little history, that's a little ironic. That's a little ironic. And Jennifer, what is your profession?
My profession, I'm a teacher, physical education and peer helping. Peer helping is a leadership class where we do substance abuse prevention, anti-bullying. We do, sorry, my brother's talking up there, so I'm coming back to you. Anti-bullying, we do stress management, go to elementary schools. It's really cool. It's about the climate of the school, and we just did some restorative practice training with the kids. That was really, really good. Really important stuff.
And you just did a diversity training too. A couple of them. Actually,
Yeah.
not just a couple. Like what?
27 years ago.
Right.
And I'm only 34, so I don't know how that happened. Boom.
Where are them spoons at?
Yeah, where are those spoons? I teach at Emerson Junior High and Da Vinci Academy in Davis, California.
Awesome. Thank you so much for
7,
being
8, 9.
grade 7, 8, 9.
Excuse me, I gotta eat a little bit more because it's so good.
Oh my gosh, I know, right? Jen, name and describe one or more educators who have positively impacted your life and how they have made a difference.
Let's say Susan Ryan McGill. She was my 7th grade physical education teacher, and also she coached everything. She was a young, new teacher, and she had a huge influence on me because she was consistently positive. She also was a disciplinarian, but in a very sweet way. She kind of role modeled how to be kind but keep us in a place that was safe, physically and emotionally. She was fun. And she treated us, it's like we were like this. It's like we know that her position was a teacher, but it wasn't like this and like this.
Yeah.
It was like this. We just had different roles.
Sure.
And it wasn't that we were, I don't know, we just were, on the respect, we were all on the same page. And
It's a good place to be in.
yeah, she just did stuff with us. Like we rode the bikes, around the campus. We could do a lot more back then. the game days. She became friends with my family, so we actually ended up later on going to their house. And when I graduated in 9th grade, another student and I, she and another teacher took us out to dinner, and this place kind of like a special little graduation. Really took interest in, we were not just as students, but as people.
Right.
And that very much influenced me, and I became a physical education teacher, and I knew in 7th grade that's what I wanted to do.
Because of her.
A huge influence from her. What I love to do, but she had a huge influence, along with Jeanette Harper, who was a physical education teacher then, who also took a few of us, we went skiing into the cabin after her husband died. She took some of us there and gave us experiences that we wouldn't have had. I mean, I think that's the thing, is they gave us these positive experiences in school and outside of school with, parental permission and involvement with the family.
Yeah.
Jan Furman, who's my high school coach, she would take us to San Francisco. We'd do stuff with the homeless. We'd get in her van, pile in her van that had this moonroof thing, and we'd hang out it. But legally, car wasn't moving, of course. And just people who just want the extra mile in giving you fun, but letting you know how important you were and that they were there for you.
Comes back to the relationship building, huh?
It's all about the relationship.
That connection, that sharing that energy and.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's Susan Ryan.
Susan Ryan was Mrs. Harper, Jeanette Harper, and Jan Furman. And I have to be honest with you, I could go back to elementary school. Mrs. Bacher, my 2nd grade teacher, I wrote a letter to her about 6 years ago. I got a letter back, and she just passed recently. And Dennis Bonner, a huge influence. He kind of was a big brother, dad type image to me, which was really important for me in junior high school. So he kind of looked out for me when I was a student, and I also taught with him. So he was a counselor at Emerson when I was there, and he always looked out for me. It's a huge influence.
Wow.
I had a lot of them, and they became friends with the family, and we just had deeper connections throughout, especially as I got older. I mean, there's age-appropriate things in junior high with your family, but as you get older,
That's awesome.
Yeah, I feel very fortunate that way.
Wow. Shout out to all of you educators that have influenced Jen throughout her educational career and pursuit of her own PE career. Have you been a PE teacher your entire
life? Yeah,
career?
I was born coming out with that little bat. Basketball. Yeah. Yes, before I got my credential, I taught at St. James for a year and a half. And then I got my credential, and I taught at Emerson for a year. They had cut back, so I went and taught at Pioneer Elementary in Union City. And then I came back to Emerson. And I think it's 31 years.
Total?
Yeah.
In education or just at Emerson?
At Emerson. I know. I don't look a day over 40.
Earlier we said 34, so...
Oh, that's right. Oh, shoot. That's right. I was 34.
It's
Dang
okay.
it. Well, I aged a little bit because I ate a little too much.
And she still got ways to go.
Hey. So I was talking to Kayla and said, I don't think K through 12, all the teachers I had influenced me in such a positive way. And then in college, Norma and Dr. Karen Scarborough, they were two teachers I had. Norma taught analysis classes, and this one time she just offered to come and film a volleyball game, so I was coaching, so the kids could see it and be prepared for another game and the analysis. And Dr. Scarborough was a sports psychology class. I learned so much from her, and she took the time to interact and it was that personal, that relational, and that personal touch as
Yeah.
far as just taking the time to get to know who you are and listening and encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know I'm an educator because I loved every teacher I had, what they taught, who they were. Yeah, really fortunate that way. It definitely influenced me. And in college, there's some that you don't get to know as well. It's a little different gig there.
Sure.
But there's ones that I got to know super well. Shout out to all the teachers I had. You know, North Davis Elementary School. I went to Emerson Junior High. Yes, I did. And Davis High School. Exceptional people. You know. Yeah. Thank you. Really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And speaking of shout outs to educators, I know that other people are going to shout out to you specifically who have had you as an educator, but I can speak as one of your colleagues and friends that you have made a similar impact and influence by the relationships that you've built and the connections that you've made with thousands of students. And I know from the select students that I have witnessed, having had you as their teacher, either in PE or peer helping, that you're one of the great ones.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Well, they make me better. They really make me a better person. You know, it's an honor to be in their lives, and their parents are entrusting them with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't take that lightly. And they do make me better. They stretch me, they mold, they challenge, they give. You know, you just give this platform, provide a platform. Oh, there's so many beautiful, wonderful, kind things.
Mm-hmm.
And people say, oh, junior high. Oh, you must be a saint. It is the best kept secret, teaching junior high school.
For sure.
It is
Kitty
an
says
honor.
so.
See?
And that's like truth. Cats meow is truth, right?
Yeah, the cat's meow.
Right, Kia? It's the cat's meow right there. Ba-da-ba.
That's good.
There's a drum set in the background. We'll be playing that later. Intermission.
Well, thank you. That was very kind of you. Thank you.
Absolutely. I just got to do it. You know, you can. I don't know that an educator or just a human being, no matter what their role is, can hear it enough that they're making a difference. Because I think educators, at least, I know that is a common question. Like, am I making a difference? How am I having an impact on these people's lives? And not only are they learning from me through the academic lessons that you're trying to teach them about being kind to one another and managing stress and being able to communicate effectively with their peers, but
It's just the kindness, I think.
yeah, so the kindness, and it's not just about those lessons that they'll likely remember, you know, to some degree, but that relationship, I think, in what I've gathered through yours is the 17th interview, I believe. 17th or 18th. The learning stems from the relationships that are built with the educators and the students. And that those are the people that people remember or want to shout out to, because that impact is on a different level than somebody being taught about specific events in our history, which is important too.
It's that saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Exactly.
It's humbling too. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty humbled in the last year. Just through a lot of different events, and I think there's a lot of growth personally that's happening with me. And in the last couple of years, I don't feel like I've been teaching as long as I have, in the fact that, you know, I think people can teach a long time and it can feel still or repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
That can happen.
Sure.
I feel like I have this new energy because I'm trying to learn some new things, but I also think that the fact that, you know, you're never going to know everything, and it's to continue to grow and learn, and I think there's ways for me that the being humbled was really good for me. You know, just in the fact that it's just to continue to grow.
And you're saying that major humbling experience or set of experiences has come in the last year?
Yeah, I think you have a child that in the age that you're teaching.
Yeah.
And I think that you just get so many more views because they're doing homework, they're doing the social, and I think that it's made me a better teacher to have a child this age. Because there's other awarenesses that have come in. And I think some things that I thought that I knew that I'm rediscovering or learning in a whole different way. And I think that I'm a better teacher because of the students and also because of my child, who, from his experiences.
Words of wisdom from Jennifer-Terra, folks.
Let it be, let it be, whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Oh, let's get that going on right here. Do that, do that. Panning. Get down, son.
Hey, Leon. Jen.
Back here.
Jen, what are the most rewarding and most challenging parts about being an educator? Yo.
The most rewarding. Well, the students themselves, the staff, the interactions, just those aha moments, those connections, those are the most rewarding when, like, I got a card from a student yesterday. I got a couple today, and just them sharing the positive impact, or, you know, just a thank you. Like, I'll have students leave physical education. Thanks, Miss Terra. So it's just that connection, and the trust.
Mm-hmm.
And
Some level of respect, for sure.
And the mutual respect. And,
Right.
being honored to be invited into their space.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a bunch of kids that eat lunch kind of outside our office area, and when we get back, I'm gonna hang out and have lunch with them.
Nice.
And the connections, and staff too. I mean, we all got together the other day for a meal, and teachers and staff, and those connections, and people are just there for you. And some people I've known, you know, over 20 years, and you have these things you know about each other, and you respect and you support one another.
Mm-hmm.
Most challenging thing? Is that what you asked me?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when political stuff gets in the way, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like when new policies come in that make it harder to do things for students.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that some people shy away, and I'm going to be pretty specific, so
Yeah.
some people shy away
Keep it
from
real.
field trips because it's become more challenging to do field trips, the sign in, the sign out, the things you need to do. And there's things that are important that are in there, but also sometimes people, I think, in different situations make decisions when they're not on the ground level. You don't realize how challenging things could be, and that you're going to lose people wanting to do, for example, field trips. And what that's done is it's made me think about, where am I not on the ground level that I need to ask more questions to people as well. You okay?
Oh yeah.
Oh. I'm like, is that big bite you took there?
Exactly what I was noting.
So,
Sorry to interrupt.
I know, that was a fun interruption. Again, I think we can learn from that, but I think it's some of the political things we get into that I don't see, personally, some of the benefits to the students and kind of how it can make it more challenging for staff. I think the other thing that's really hard is when a student's really hurting and you just see them struggling. And it's like, what are the resources we have? And what things can we do? And that can be, that's really sad to see and really challenging to see.
What part of it is challenging to see or sad to see?
I think we've lost, you have to see this over 31 years, so it might not be exactly right now, but I think there's students that have fallen in the cracks because of different things. It could be home, it could be resources, it could be, and again, this is not necessarily present, but it's throughout the years. I think we do have a lot more in place right now, just to say that. But it's when I can think of this one student that it was a long, long time ago, and his sexuality was definitely something that was weighing him down, how to express himself, and he ended up dropping out of school. And I think he ended up maybe going to independent study, but I just felt like we
didn't serve him.
I feel like we didn't at that time years ago, that we weren't serving him. And just running the diversity trainings and listening to the multicultural panel, there's stuff that people deal with, and people of color especially deal with, that I don't think we can fully understand. And I think things that are going on that maybe we're not addressing, or I think we just need to ask more questions and get ourselves more educated and allow voices to step forward
And be open to those real conversations that really get
absolutely.
at the heart of the issues.
Yes.
And then address the issues.
It's like someone talking on the multicultural panel yesterday that, yes, there have been changes that have happened from her to her daughter, but there's some of the same issues. And it's like we have these task force, which are a lot of good things, a lot of good ideas, but it's like the action steps sometimes. I think it's not, if you're in those situations, it feels like it takes forever for action to happen.
Sure.
If it does.
Well, and over 31 years in education, would you agree with some beliefs that many things, whether it be like the processing of field trip forms, your kid needs additional support through different services that are offered in the district or outside of the district, or maybe there's a conflict, or like at school, or on a bigger, grander scale of the policies and the systems? Do you believe that things tend to take a bit of time to come to a conclusion, or to come to the action steps that needed to happen in order for support or change to be made?
Things just vary. I mean, there were a lot of things that were really in place 31 years ago, and there's a lot of things that are really in place now, and then there's just things in between where it's just more resources available. Like we have crisis counselors that are amazing, and yeah, I mean, and we have administrators that have some flexibility because they know everything is not like this. As long as it's, you know, safe, there's some flexibility in there, and also some consistency and guidance. You know, it just varies.
Yeah.
It's a hard one because it's not really that 31 years ago this happened and now it's, oh, I wish it was like it was then, or now it's, oh, it's so much more awesome now, because there's awesomeness all the way along.
Right.
And there's things that, you know, are challenging, but it's part of the journey. I think it's finding the places that you can go and the people that you know that can bring support, and also educating and getting yourself educated. That's what I'm saying about the humbling piece, is that you gotta keep growing and keep learning. And you know, I've done things that I am really very happy, very proud in growth, and you know, and I've had conversations and things where, you know, I step back and say, you know, you could have done that better. And I think that's part of the growth. And I think that's why I'm saying this. I think that's the way along this whole journey with all of us. You know, I think there's things we've done really well, things that we can do better, and I think we just have to learn from our experiences and grow, but pull in the students more.
Yeah.
Pull in the parents more. Have these conversations. You know, we make a lot of decisions throughout those years without involving the students.
The people that we really serve.
Yeah. But yet we also pull the students in. We've done a really good job as well at times of that. So I just think a reminder to keep getting the students' input in situations, and I think there's the climate committee and some other things that are really doing that. And there's a lot of groups and things that are going on as well. So I mean, we have many, many awesome things where we pull students in and students self-facilitate.
Yeah.
I just want us to continue to be open and listen, and myself to be a better listener. Yeah.
Likewise. And the growth in becoming a better listener. For sure.
Yeah.
Jen, what resources, programs, systems have you noticed being implemented over the years that have been really beneficial? And what systems, resources, programs do we need more of to support students' mental, social, emotional health and well-being?
When I was in elementary school, we had a big social group, boys and girls that have boyfriends, girlfriends in 6th grade. They were really interested in us, the counselors. There was a counselor at the school back then. And so we would go in and they'd ask us these questions, and I think they were really looking at the climate, looking at the social, and looking at our interactions. And I think they really wanted to learn and get things into place to be able to serve the students, and we were one of the groups. So I think having counselors, skills for adolescents in the elementary schools is really important. And having the students come from the junior high or in high schools to the elementary school to mentor. We have those programs in place. And I also think we could probably do more. I mean, coming in and talking about if there are bullying issues or, you know, where people aren't treating each other well, talk about, you know, what it's like to be a friend, what it looks like, kind of the anti-bullying. Some people don't like to use the word bullying because it's an intent to harm, and they not sure for the elementary that they have an intent to harm. So, you know, whatever language is appropriate and feels right for people.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of it starts in elementary.
Sure.
And a type of diversity training. I think it's really important to get to know your counselors and ask them what's available for the students, what resources they have, because that can really help just with your interactions and your accessibility and what you find that you can have for the students available to them. I do believe that we should go and keep educating ourselves about multicultural issues, diversity issues, ability awareness, and I'm really having some ahas in that area because a lot of the neuroscience, and I'm really getting away from this word disability because it's more about abilities, and we have different abilities, and how autism, attention deficit, the ADD and things, that these are just, they're another ability. And there's things that are really incredible that come with that.
Sure.
There's some of the creativity, some of the things that we have. I mean, you look at Einstein, you look at Thomas Edison, and people like that who had disabilities.
Right.
These are amazing abilities. So as neuroscience gives us more education, feedback, and information, I think looking at that, in that way, the abilities that this brings, and the beauty and the insights that brings.
Yeah.
Also being aware of even the tapping on the table with a pencil, things like that, how the auditory processing, how that can just really magnify. So we think we're playing music and doing things to help our students relax and be calm, but that can really distract students. So it's finding out all those different resources, talking to your resource teachers, full inclusion, that whole bit, just gaining more knowledge to increase our awareness. And, and also your custodial staff.
Yeah.
I mean, for the discipline that I'm in, they make things happen.
Yeah.
And there are insights and things that they see with students and with staff that we just don't see. There's a different on the ground level. And the cafeteria is just to get to know everybody.
Yeah.
None of us are better
Right.
than the other. We just have different things going on, and we have different talents, different skills. So I'd say take time to walk around and get to know people. And I know when you're brand new, that'd be kind of weird, but I think because, it's you trying to just kind of make it through the day sometimes.
But it takes a village, not only for the kids, but also as a new educator or veteran educator. It just takes a village of support to thrive and be successful.
Yep, and learn from the new people coming in and the people that have been there a long time. So, and I think that's also something for those of us who've been teaching a long time. Listen to what the new teachers are bringing in. And I think that's a really important piece as well. But the resources, and go in and talk to your administrative assistants, and just get to know people, spend some time, and get into the social piece with staff too.
Yeah. That's a critical
we're there for
time
each other.
for building rapport
Yeah.
and connection, and just like that respect for one another, and you help each other out, at different points, and it's a give and take. So that's a really important piece.
And we have people at the district office and all of our places that they have some real skills and real resources for us, and I think we forget that. We look on site a lot. Like Kate Snow, for example, in our district. She has some really great insights and some knowledge that is very helpful, and again, tuning because you're a counselor, but the counselors make things happen, in Kara and Jen, and I've just admired and respected their work for a long time, and I think that they lift all of us up, not just the students, but it helps support and lift up the teachers.
Absolutely.
So.
What advice or tips do you have for an aspiring educator?
Oh, man. Check your ego at the door. Be consistent. Let the students know that you care. Listen. I'd say talk to teachers that have been there for a while. What's helped them with the class management, and which in the relational part of the students with the class management, to just find your passion within the teaching and bring that forward with the youth, and listen to them and get to know them. Spend time outside of your classroom, whether it's going to games, leading a club, coaching. Just take that extra time to get to know the students again outside of the classroom. And if there's things that you can take, workshops you can take that have to do with diversity and inclusion, I highly recommend you to do that. Right in the interview.
All right, Jen, as we're signing off, can you one last time shout out to the educators that you want to know that they've made a difference in your life?
I want to say like all of you.
Right.
The ones that I shared earlier were Susan Ryan, Jeanette Harper, she's passed, Jan Furman, and Dennis Bonner are very influential, and Dave Whitmire really held me up and challenged me in a good way. And Mrs. Bacher was my second grade teacher, and she's passed. And just Michelle Baxter when I first started at Emerson. I mean, I could go on and on.
Yeah.
And I'm just really grateful to the people that mentored me, not just inside the classroom, but outside the classroom, and saw where I needed support or play or just honestly just kindness. So, and thank you to you for, what you're doing, and you're putting all this stuff out here to, educate teachers and community. And, I see what you do. I mean, we could flip this and you could be here. And I see what you do with students and what you role model and what you give them. So, I want to put a shout out to you and to,
thank you.
Thank you for what you're doing and the awareness. It's really important. And it's, bottom line, it's about kindness.
Kindness matters.
Yep.
And you know who believes in that quite a bit in our community? Not in our Davis community, but in our larger community.
There's a lot.
Okay, well, hint, first name starts with E, last name starts with D. Has her own show.
Oh, Ellen DeGeneres, I know that one.
Ellen!
Oh my God. So I should put a shout out to Ellen. You know why, Ellen?
Why? Oh,
well, crucial parts of my life, you were very important, role model to me. I saw your show, your comedy show in San Francisco years ago. One of the cleanest, funniest things I've ever seen. But you and this whole thing with kindness, I want to invite you to come to Davis to be a part of our diversity training about ability awareness, multicultural, LGBTQIA, making connections across our differences, because it is really the bottom line is about kindness there. So I want to extend an invitation to you to come out sometime, but I also thank you for the many things that you're doing in our world, just by being who you are, simply, and being a kind soul.
I got chills when you said you extended the invite to her, because I not only believe that that could make a really big difference and that could be super powerful, but I really believe that it could happen.
Yeah,
I believe that is right up your alley, Ellen.
One of the kids who were talking about, I don't know how it came up in our peer helping class, but they were saying, "Oh, Miss Terra, you guys would be such good friends." I was going, yeah, we would be. I think kind of live up the same alley.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
A former student who also did a shout out a few episodes ago, if you will, was like, "Miss Ebbe, when I first met you, I thought that you looked like Ellen, and you seem like you could be sisters." And I was like, sisters. That's a compliment. All right, Jen, well, thank you so much for all that you have done and continue to do for students and families and educators alike. And the world is a much more beautiful place with you in it and with your role as an educator. And thank you for supporting the Educator Chipotle Challenge and doing an Educator Shout Out Interview.
I get you.
Love you, girl.
I love you too. Thanks for spreading the kindness, the love, and the education, and mainly the
hard work.
yeah. Thank you.
The hard work. Absolutely. Peace
Cheers.
out.
We did not plan that.
We did
That
not
did
plan
not
it
happen.
all.
Oh wait, I
flow.
didn't play the spoons.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's go out with a spoon play.
Educator Shout Out Interview. Educator Shout Out Interview. Jennifer Terra is here.
Yeah.
Daniel in the background with the guitar.
Yeah.
Back at ya. Make the world a better place, folks. Keep it real.
Peace out.
Peace out.